if you want to learn how to get ginormous fucking triceps that look like a fucking horseshoe, stay tuned. I'm going to put y'all on a sauce. What's up guys, Joel here, back with another video, and today we're going to be talking about triceps. Triceps are one of those muscles that if you want to look big and intimidating and you want an aesthetic physique, you most definitely need it developed. Research shows that the tricep makes up for 2/3 of the arm, and as someone who has like a pretty solid tricep on them, I think I'm relatively qualified to talk about this. Tricep is a very simple muscle to grow, like with most muscles, but it just does take a bit of know-how. And with the knowledge that I'm going to give you in this video, you're going to know exactly how to grow your triceps. Once again, as for why this kind of matters, like I said, it makes up 2/3 of the arm. So if you're just one of those guys who are new to the gym, you're just only hammering, doing fucking girls for the girls 24/7, your arms is really never going to reach their full potential. So it's imperative that you hit your triceps, especially because having strong triceps is going to carry over to your bench press, which is pretty much every dude's favorite exercise. So let's get right into it. Now, first things first, your tricep is an arm muscle, so it can recover relatively fast. You want to give it adequate time to rest, but it can still recover relatively fast. And what this just means is it recovers fast enough for you to hit it 2 to 3 times a week. Now, knowing this, you can either have a dedicated arm day or you can hit arms after your upper body days. Or when you think about it, because your triceps are like very active on any pressing movements, you're hitting them several times a week, more times a week than most other muscle groups, right? So when it comes to that, just knowing that you don't have to be scared to hit your triceps very often is going to really help you when it comes to getting bigger triceps. Now, first things first, right? We obviously know that isolation work for your arms is going to be the best way to grow it overall. But neglecting your compounds is a perfect way to fucking kill your growth in the long run. You do want compounds or just chest movements where your triceps are more active than typical, because the difference is with isolation lifts, like I said, they're amazing for just hyper focusing on the muscle. But when it comes to compound lifts like dips or close grip bench press, for example, due to the additional leverage that the chest is offering while biasing your triceps, you're able to kind of expose your triceps to a weight and range of motion that they're not really used to, which is kind of necessary, because if you're just using them on extensions, like I said, it's going to be incredibly effective and probably really all you need, but you're never really bringing out their full potential in terms of the weight and intensity that they can handle. So it's imperative that you have some compound lifts that either are just hitting triceps regularly or biasing them completely. Now, as for the tricep compound lifts that I'd recommend, right? You have the basic ones, right? You have like push-ups, close grip bench press, dips, but the current best one that is supported by science is JM press. It's essentially when you merge a skull crusher and a close grip bench press into one exercise, and it's typically done on a Smith machine just for safety purposes. But because of the range of motion, because of the fact that it's kind of half isolation, half compound, it is probably the overall best exercise for just cluster fucking your triceps. So if you want something to start your tricep days off with, or an exercise that you can really use to track your progress and strength for your triceps, JM press is the #1 best way to do it. Now, some other outstanding ways to do it are things like weighted dips and close grip bench press. They accomplish the same things, they're just a little different, but they are some of my favorites. I especially love weighted dips because of the extra range of motion. You have the ability to go below parallel on the bar if your flexibility will allow for it. That makes it, for me, one of my favorites. I do like close grip bench press, although it's like probably my last option when it comes to compound tricep lifts. It is still a fucking phenomenal exercise. So any one of those three is going to get you much bigger triceps. And the same principle applies with most compounds. Start at something that you can do for 4 reps, progress it until you can hit 8 reps, then increase the weight until you can only hit 4 reps again, and rinse and repeat this process, and you will grow as fast as possible. Research shows the optimal rep range for hypertrophy is 5, so you're going to be a little over that, directly at that, and a little over that at some time. So it's perfect for that. You won't fatigue yourself, and you're just going to be making progress insanely fast, and it's going to have a lot of carryover to your typical bench press. So all in all, it's a 10 out of 10. There you go. And one thing These can be done whether it's on machine, free weight, like I said, do it however you feel is comfortable. Now, as for your isolation lifts for the tricep, right? In order to get the most out of your triceps, you need isolation and compounds. Now, as for the isolation, we're going to make this very simple. You want a push down movement of some sort. It'll hit every head of the tricep, right? All tricep exercises are going to hit every head of the tricep, and there's really not a whole lot of difference. So you of course want a push down. Now, what is considered the most or the best push down is probably a bar push down, just because it's most comfortable for people and you can typically push the most amount of weight. I personally like a rope push down, but if you like a bar push down or you like the V-bar push down, do whatever you like. Like I said, you can do this in the anywhere from the 4 to 12 rep range. Progress the reps over time, increase the rate, rinse and repeat. You're going to grow. Now, another exercise that I like is an overhead extension of some sort. I personally do it with dumbbells, but a lot of people who are in the science-based world like to do it with a cable. So if you like doing it with a cable, do it like that. Like I said, as long as you're doing it and progressing it, you're going to grow. Now, as for the last thing that I personally like doing is I like doing a skull crusher. Whether you want to do this easy bar, somehow by a fucking cable, do it whatever you want. I personally do it with a dumbbell on each arm just because I maxed out the easy bar at my gym. But like I said, you can do it however way you want. Now, I must mention, if you are already doing JM press, it's probably not 100% necessary to do it, but I haven't ran into any issues with doing both. So that's where I'm at with that. JM press is the overall better option, but you can also throw in skull crushers as well, and it'll only help your JM press. Now, one thing, the long head is the biggest portion of the tricep. So in order to probably get the most out of the tricep, maybe you want to start off with an overhead extension, right? Because an overhead extension, like I said, will hit the long head, which is the biggest part of the tricep. Now, this could be either skull crushers, overhead press, or JM press. And once again, JM press is the overall best, but the next best thing will probably be like an overhead extension via a rope / cable. So there you have it. Focus on your long head first, and that's what's going to grow your tricep probably the most. And to kind of review everything I went over in this video, one, you want relatively high frequency with your triceps, so 2 to 3 times a week. Good compound lifts to really take advantage of your triceps' full potential and range of motion. JM press, close grip bench press, weighted dips. You want your good isolation lifts like overhead extensions, bar push downs, skull crushers, things like that. And of course, prioritizing your long head, so doing something for that first. So an overhead movement of some sort. Do this in anywhere from the 4 to 12 rep range, probably a bit lower for compounds since they're more fatiguing. Maybe higher for isolation if you just like doing it like that, but you can do lower for that as well. Progress it over time, get stronger, train with intensity, eat your body weight in protein, and your triceps will get fucking huge. There you have it, guys. You know how to get big triceps. Go out and look like there's a fucking horseshoe on the back of your triceps. I don't care. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know what videos you guys want to see next. The science-based lifting guide is in the bio, so please check that out for me. I'm gonna see y'all next time.